Let's have questions to ask you. How could we see any objects? Then at first time your answer may be wrong because you have no the perfect concept. You may answer me that, sir, lights come from our eyes and falls on the objects and then we see the objects. It is very simple answer, but this answer is totally wrong. So what is the right answer? Actually, light does not come from our eyes. Our eyes are not the source of light. Okay, so eyes are not source of light, and that means light does not come from our eyes. So how could we see the objects? Actually, from a source, light falls on objects, and after that light reflected by the objects, and then this reflected light, if this reflected light enter our eyes, then only we can see the objects. So this is the process of vision. Okay, and also keep a point in your mind that light creates the sensation of vision in our eyes. Okay, it creates a sensation of vision in our eyes. In later chapter, in the next chapter, we will study in detail about the eyes, its function, its different parts, and etc. its problems also. So let's we discuss the source of light. Depending on different points, the source of lights can be divided into two groups, and these are luminous source of light, or you can say luminous object, and the other group is non-luminous source of light or non-luminous objects. Let's we define these two groups particularly. First, let's we take the luminous source of light or the luminous objects. Students, you already know that there are some objects which can emit the light. You already learned these things, that sun is an example of star in our galaxy, and it's the principal star of our solar system, which gives us the energy. So sun emits the lights, and this light reaches to the earth. Okay, so sun is an example of luminous object. So what is the actually definition of luminous objects? Let's take a particular definition about the luminous objects, and it is very simple to memorize, very simple to understand. The luminous object or the luminous source of object, the objects which can emit the light, or in other way, the objects which have own source of light are known as luminous object. The objects which have own source of light, they can emit the light. This type of objects are known as luminous objects. For example, the star, the different stars, and the burning candle, it also can emit the light, you know that. Similarly, the tube light, I am working this time by the help of the light of a tube light. Here the electric tube light is also an example of luminous object, when it emits the light. When if you switch off the light, tube light, and then you call this is an luminous object, it is totally wrong. Okay, when it gives or emits the light, that means it is the luminous object. Similarly, the burning candle, I have already given this example. So these are the lots of examples you can memorize. You can take these points in your mind to give the examples about the luminous objects. Let's move in the next topic, the definition of non-luminous objects. What are the non-luminous objects? The non-luminous objects are just different type of objects of luminous objects. Non-luminous objects cannot emit the light. They have no own source of light, but they can reflect the light. Okay, by the reflection we can see them. They are visible to us by the reflection of light. Okay, but they cannot emit the light because they have no source of light. They have no own source of light. Okay, so let's we define the non-luminous object in a particular way. The objects which have no own source of light, or the objects which cannot emit the light, are known as non-luminous objects. And there are lots of easy examples of non-luminous objects. The common examples of the non-luminous objects is our planet, our mother planet Earth. It has no source of light. It totally gets the energy or the light energy from the sun. So our Earth is an example of non-luminous objects. Similarly, the moon. You can see the beautiful moon in night. But do you know the moon has no source of light? It actually reflects the light which it gets from the sun. Okay, so moon is an also example of non-luminous objects. And there are lots of examples of non-luminous objects. For example, chair, table, etc., etc. These are the examples of non-luminous objects. Okay, so also we have finished this topic. Let's we move another topic, and this topic is passage of light. Passage of light. Let's we discuss. If we discuss the passage of light, we can understand there are so many objects which actually allow the light rays to pass through them, and there are so many objects which does not allow the light to pass through them, and there are some objects which allow the light rays to pass through them, but not completely, not fully, just partial. Okay, so the objects which allow the light rays to pass through them very easily are known as transparent objects. Students, these are the basic topics which I am discussing with you this time. These are the basic topics, so let's we discuss these all topics very quickly. Okay, in a quick steps I want to discuss these all topics as we have already discussed these topics in our earlier classes. So first of all, the transparent objects. The transparent object, which are the transparent objects? The transparent objects are those which allow the light rays to pass through them very easily. Okay, for example, air, water, or glass. These objects allow the light rays to pass through them very easily. If you follow the light rays on a glass surface, you can see the light passes through the glass. That means glass is here the transparent object. Similarly, light can pass easily through air, through water. So air, water, glass are the examples of the transparent objects. Let's move the next topic, opaque objects. The opaque objects, what is the definition of opaque objects? The objects which does not allow the light rays to pass through them. The objects which does not allow the light rays to pass through them completely are known as the opaque objects. Okay, it does not allow the light rays to pass through them. For example, plastic, thick plastic, or the wooden chair, table, etc., etc. Brick, you can also take an example, brick. These are the objects which does not allow the light rays to pass through them. If you follow the light on the one surface of these objects, and then if you look the other surface of these objects, you cannot see the light rays. That means light rays falls in a surface, but this light does not pass through these objects, so we cannot see the light rays in another side surface. Okay, so this is the case of the objects, opaque objects. Let's we discuss about the translucent objects. The objects which allow the light rays to pass through them partially, not completely, not fully, partially, are known as the translucent objects. For example, of translucent object, the ground glass, filter paper, this type of objects allow the light rays to passes through them very partially, not completely, not fully. Okay, so I hope you have understand these all topics. If you have any questions, any doubt about these topics, you can write me in our comment sections. And if you have any questions, then also you write, and please suggest me to change anything in communications or in language. Okay, if you have any language problem, you also can suggest me in which way I want to I should teach you. These points you have to suggest me. Okay, then I will change. I will try to change these points. I will try to update my skills to give you the best benefits. Okay.